This is your Barbados Today morning news update for Thursday, July the 5th. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Thanks for joining us. Topping the news at this hour, the decision by Prime Minister and Minister of Finance Mia Mottley to default on the country's debt has come back to bite local companies that do business in Canada. Barbados Today understands that some manufacturers and suppliers that receive assistance from the Ontario-based Export Credit Agency Development Canada are demanding prepayment from Barbadian businesses, which means they now have to look for US dollars up front. This is the result of new restrictive measures to its credit insurance coverage for Barbados imposed by the EDC, which provides insurance and financial services, bonding products, and small business solutions to Canadian exporters and investors and their international buyers. Prime Minister Mottley says, meanwhile, that hassle-free intra-regional travel must be priority number one for Caribbean governments if they are serious about the future viability of the CARICOM single market and economy. Addressing yesterday's opening ceremony of the three-day CARICOM Summit in Jamaica, Prime Minister Mottley suggested that such action must take place in order to get people to support the integration movement.
The cost, we can go further to a CARICOM multipurpose ID, is not a cost that needs to be borne by governments, but is a cost that can be borne by through partnership across governments, the private sector, and individuals in our region. But if we do it alone, it will always cost more. Similarly, a single domestic space for hassle-free travel presupposes a single domestic space for transportation. And I think we have reached a point where to talk anymore about how difficult it is to move from country to country and to do nothing is an exercise that if I were not in decent company, I would find a different word to describe it.
Prime Minister Mottley also complained that the matter of accreditation and the issuance of verification of skills certificate have come to humbug too many citizens. She said the region must do better in speeding up the verification of these documents, especially in an age of blockchain technology.
But let me share with you a small statistic to show you why we have to change and change urgently. In Barbados, between 2006 and 2018, our Accreditation Council issued 2,039 certificates and verified another 1,122. Out of the total 3,161 certificates, 10 were fraudulent. In other words, 0.3% of the certificates that we spent months seeking to verify were fraudulent. It has said to us, and we have instantly agreed as a cabinet, that we need to change how we do business.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
Welcome back with news from the region now. Caribbean Airlines is warned that it puts public safety at risk by hiring senior managers without background checks. The Joint Select Committee on State Enterprises issued the warning alongside a recommendation to get those security checks done urgently. Fane Richards reports.
You cannot, in 2018, ignore security in a world where we have experienced acts of terrorism. And for a company CEO to do so, it is the height of reckless conduct and behavior.
Publicly berating the top executive at Caribbean Airlines for breaching company policy. Addressing the JSC back in March, CAL CEO Garvin Madeira was laid back about his decision not to conduct company-mandated security checks on senior managers he'd recently hired. At the time, CAL contended employees who don't come in direct contact with planes and passengers may not need such vetting. The Joint Select Committee doesn't see it that way.
And on the international scene, 2 British citizens were critically ill up to last night after they were exposed to Novichok. That's the same nerve agent that struck down a former Russian agent and his daughter in March. We pick up the story in this Reuters report.
A man and a woman in the UK are in critical condition after being poisoned with the same nerve agent that struck down former Russian spy Sergei Skripal and his daughter in March. That confirmation coming late Wednesday from Neil Basu, Britain's most senior counter-terrorism officer.
This evening I've received test results from Porton Down that show that the 2 people have been exposed to the nerve agent Novichok.
The couple, who have not yet been identified, were hospitalized after being found sick on Saturday in Amesbury, just a few miles from Salisbury, where Skripal and his daughter Yulia were attacked. Officials initially believed they'd suffered from a bad reaction to heroin or cocaine, and police didn't raise the emergency level until late Tuesday night. UK counter-terrorism police are now leading the investigation, though Basu said it was unclear how the 2 people came into contact with the nerve agent or whether they had been specifically targeted.
And that's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We are also on Izumi Media in bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Have a fantastic day.